Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Celente, and it's Thursday, June 6th, 2023. And here are some of today's trends in the news. And remember, tune into the Cartoon News Network, CNN. Well, the big news is they fired the guy that was running the joint. Tune into Fox. Tune into ABC. Tune into NPR. Tune into CBS. Read The Guardian. No. Read BBC. Nobody anywhere talks about trends. Not a word. Because they don't know how to. We are the only ones in the business doing this. We're giving you the trends that help you prepare, prevail, and prosper in these very, very, very wild times ahead. So, where do we begin? Oh, let's begin with the wild time of what's going on now as the East Coast is being poisonously polluted by the wildfires up in Canada. That's the big news. Yep. Canadian wildfires spreading poisonous air across eastern U.S. As I say, hey, little Trudeau, you arrogant piece of shit, you little fuck who locked down everything to fight the COVID war. You're sending Canadian ships into the Taiwan Straits. How about putting out the fucking fire, fuckface? You little arrogant daddy's boy. You'd be a nobody if your daddy wasn't maybe Trudeau, or they say Castro. Who knows? Oh, hey, Lindsey fuckface Graham, you little fucking warmongering prick. Hey, you love starting wars all over the world. Hey, America, you're too fucking stupid, all you shithead politicians, to put out a fucking fire? Where are all these little shithead prostitutes? Hey, all you fuckfaces that steal trillions of dollars of our tax money to go kill people all over the world, you're too fucking stupid to put out a simple fucking forest fire? Calm down, Celente. Be a good American. Be like all the little cocksuckers, and I can't say the other word, up here in Kingston, who hate Celente. You know why? Because I want peace on earth. I don't like wars. I want our money going into building the economy and building the middle income that's been robbed from us by the fucks that are stealing our dough. Not a word from the prostitutes about the incompetency of that arrogant little scumbag up there in Canada, that arrogant little scumbag up in Canada that put people in jail for protesting against not wanting to get the COVID jab if they drove a truck in and out of the United States into Canada. How come you can't put out the forest fires, fuckface? Oh, Biden's sending some help. What a fucking joke. Just to make this clear, when war breaks out, you just saw the incompetencies of these little political fucking shitheads that can't put out a fucking fire that's poisoning people. So when war breaks out, oh, with that nuclear, oh, here's what you do. Get in your house. Don't leave. Stand in the middle of the room. Bend over and kiss your ass goodbye. I'm calling him out. Are you? Hey, politicians, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? And the back of the shirt, in case they can't see the front. That's it. Oh, and what's the other big news? Oh, why, those dirty Russians, they blew up their dam. We'll get to that later. But let's go back to the economy. So the Dow went up today. The S&P up almost 12%. No news to everyone that listens to trends in the news. We're the only ones that said the S&P would rise this year. So all of you fuck faces out there in the mainstream media that call me a gloom and doomer because I don't swallow your shit, you were only not saying this. And the reason we said it is we look at data. And following the last 60 years, the last 40 midterm elections, the S&P 500 has gone up 16.3%. So now the S&P is reaching its top. Very important. And speaking of Canada, they raised their interest rates 25 basis points. Wasn't expected because they said they weren't going to do it. You know why they did it? Because they're fucking liars and they're incompetent. This is going to bring down the economy. But more importantly, or equally importantly, or almost importantly, Australia raised theirs too. The banksters are all in one. It's one big club, and we ain't in it. It's a crime syndicate. It's the place that the Prince of Peace, as our Trends Journal shows, drove the money changers out of the temple. They're all in this game together. What does that mean for the U.S. interest rates that we're going to hear about next Wednesday? What does it mean? If Canada's raising them, if Australia is raising them, the EU, right after the U.S. meeting, it's their meeting, they're talking about raising them. If they raise interest rates, gold prices go down. Gold prices went up today over $20 because the dollar weakened. The dollar will get stronger when they raise interest rates if they raise them. If they hold interest rates, you're going to see the S&P 500 move up and you're going to see gold move up if they hold interest rates where they are. So that's how you can't tell what they're going to do. So that's the forecast. And then oil prices, they went down again today. How come? Because the global economy is slowing down. Jobless claims increased more than expected to the highest since October 2021. October 2021, at the height of the COVID war, you mean back then? First time jobless claims rose sharply last week in a potential sign that the labor market is softening. Yep. The total is way ahead of the Dow Jones estimate of 235,000, 261,000 filed for unemployment. Now, remember, they put the numbers up, how great the new employment numbers came up last week. A total of 1.635 million people are receiving jobless benefits through May 20th. That's an increase of over 27% since last year. So this thing is slowing down. China, exports fell 7.5%. Oh, what does that mean? That means they're selling less product overseas because people are buying less. Exports to the United States, down over 18%. Then, what's China doing? Some of China's biggest banks, this Bloomberg, lowered rates on the range of deposit products. So they're doing this because the government is telling them to boost the economy because this economy is going down. Their zero COVID policy put tens of millions of businesses out of business. No, they don't come back. And by the Canada rates, by the way, they're now at a 22-year high. This is going to bring down the economy. An article in Bloomberg. Don't ask us to come back to the office or we will quit, investors say. Financial professionals have a warning for their employers. Don't ask me to come to the office more often or I'll quit. That's according to the latest Markets Live Pulse survey, which found that roughly 1 in 2 people, I'm not good at math, but that was at 50%, who work in finance would change jobs or already have if their managers require them to spend more times in the office. More than half of the 1,585 respondents globally prefer a hybrid arrangement. Only 20% favor working from the office. I'm mentioning this because we were the first, when the COVID war began in March 2020, warning about an office building bust. And we said this is the year it will finally make the news. And it's right there in your Trends Journal, top trends of 2023, office building bust. This is serious, and it's only going to get much worse, and now they're reporting on it. So here was the Wall Street Journal article yesterday. Commercial property faces loan crunch. No fucking shit. Blow me away. Never would have known that. Nearly 1.5 trillion in commercial mortgages are coming due over the next, according to data provider TREP. Fitch Ratings recently estimates that 35% of pooled securitized commercial mortgages coming due between April and December of this year won't be able to refinance based on current interest rates. Oh, based on current interest rates? Oh, what if they raise interest rates? The bad situation will become much worse. And again, they might, because when you look at what's going on in Canada, look what's going on in the EU, look what's going on in Australia and other countries, interest rates are going up. Again, the higher interest rates go, the stronger the dollar gets, the weaker gold goes, temporarily. Let's see. CoStar's risk analysis team estimates that as much as 83% of outstanding securitized office loans won't be able to refinance if interest rates stay at current levels. Ready? You're talking about it. A lifeline for commercial property is all gummed up. Banks are getting stingy with commercial property mortgages. Loans for property industry are drying up rapidly. The CBRE Lending Momentum Index, a proxy for U.S. commercial real estate lending, fell 54% in the first quarter of 2023 compared to a year ago. You see where this is going? But don't worry. Everybody will go down. When prices go down, the bigs will get bigger and keep buying up more. And the plantation workers of Slavelandia will keep moving down lower. KKR to buy Seacor in $1.6 billion deal. We mention this because every week in your Trends Journal, and you look at the index of the Trends Journal and what we put out, one after another, trends on the economic front, global economic front, Ukraine war update, guest articles, presidential reality show, trends in the markets, trends in technocracy by Joe Duran, the brilliant Joe Duran, the top technocracy guy, trends in cryptos, trends in the COVID war, trends in high-tech science. So anyway, trends in AI, we owe you. We mention each week how the bigs keep buying up everything. Bigs keep getting bigger. When this economy goes down, the bigs are even going to get bigger, buying up more. And what else do we have here? In move to restructure, Los Angeles Times plans to cut 10% of newsroom. What newsroom? News is gone. We mention this because, hey, Vice went bankrupt. Vox is, BuzzFeed's buzzing out. Business Insider fired 10% of his people. We're giving you what nobody else is giving you anywhere, any place. The reason they're going down is because they're all repeating the same bullshit. Nobody gives you trends in the news because they don't know how to do trends. Period, paragraph. Oh, we can't say period. Now, take it easy, ladies. Didn't mean it like that, all right? They don't know how to forecast trends. What we're giving you, nobody's giving you. That's why you're seeing journalism is dead, because they're all prostitutes. And when we get to the Ukraine war, we'll show you how the prostitutes keep selling propaganda. And the newspapers are shrinking to nothing because they are nothing. So now we go into the propaganda mode. Russian troops swept away by flooding from Ukraine dam collapse. Yep. This is from the New York Post. Look at this flooding. Russian troops were seen being swept away by raging floodwaters and running for their lives after the Nova Kakhovka dam collapsed. Captain Andrei Pidlisny told CNN, "No one on the Russian side was able to get away." There's a quote. "All the regiments the Russians had on that side were flooded." Okay. How did he know? How did he know? If he wasn't right there at that dam, how did he know what was going on? So, of course, as we keep mentioning, they say the Russians blew up their own dam, just like they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, just like they blew up the Crimea Bridge, just like they attacked the Kremlin. Why isn't anybody calling this guy out? The officer suggested that Vladimir Putin's soldiers may not have received in advance warnings of what he says is the Russian attack. So Russia killed its own troops at its own dams with its own hydroelectric power to punish Ukraine. That's the propaganda coming from the mainstream media. Wonder why Los Angeles Times didn't fire the other fucking 90% of the people that them, like everybody else, keep spewing out the propaganda. How about another side of the story? We'll keep going here. In our opinion, this is a crime. The prosecutor general's office has already registered it. It will have evidence, Zelensky said. Oh, Zelensky said, oh, yeah, the guy that played a sitcom and in the sitcom played the president of Ukraine and played the piano with his penis. Well, if he said that, then I have to believe it. The Ukraine Army captain told CNN, the Cartoon News Network, whose ratings are in the toilet, that he believed the Russians deliberately targeted the reservoir to thwart Kyiv's long-awaited counteroffensive. Well, he believes, so we should believe. One piece of bullshit after another. Then, at the end of this report from the New York Post, in a phone conversation with Turkish President Erdogan Wednesday, which was yesterday, Putin called the destruction of the dam, quote, an environmental and humanitarian catastrophe, which he attributed to Kyiv's barbaric act. But then they go on to quote some clown, the U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the United Nations, Robert Wood. Yeah, Wood. Wood fucking, a pencil piece of fucking wood shit. Quote, why would Ukraine do this to their own territory and people? Hey, wait a minute. It was a hydroelectric dam controlled by Russia. And the people that went under, according to the captain, were all Russians. And it's hit the Russian territory. But we'll say the lie because we swallow shit. We're prostitutes and we take it up the ass. Force tens. Yep. So that's it. And then Other articles. U.S. was aware of Ukrainian plot to attack Nord Stream, says report. This is from Financial Times. And if there were U.S. agencies were warned of Kyiv raid on pipeline, New York Times. So how come you didn't stop it? And Seymour Hersh says the United States did it. Listen, we got questions that were sent to us on Twitter poll. And again, got questions. The top 5 like questions. That's where you go to get it. So here are the questions. What is your best guess estimate on how long the dollar and global economy collapse? It's a guess estimate. You can't do it. So the dollar is going to collapse, for example, when they lower interest rates. That's the beginning. Or if something happens like a wild card and they say we're taking the dollar off the petrodollar. That's the end of it. But the beginning of the end is here. If you want all the details, go to the Trends Journal. Huge article in this week's Trends Journal. Go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. What's your take on Trump? At this point, I think we may have been played. Of course we've been played. Enough. And now you got all these other clowns running. Pence, little pencil shit. Christie, little fucking slobby clown from New Jersey. An arrogant, moronic piece of shit. Look at the freak show. Trump is a narcissistic. He's had it. Do you expect Bitcoin to outperform gold? No. What do you think will be the globalists' next big move? When all else fails, they take it to war. How long would economic recovery take after the dollar debasement and social collapse? It'll be the decline of the end of the Roman Empire. How long does it take? Did it come back? It's the end of it. It's the end of it unless we change it. Unless we change it. And as you know, I think someone like RFK Jr. could be the guy that could turn it around. I don't agree with a number of his things, but I agree with a number of them. And the biggest one is peace. And he's the only one talking about it. What else? Here we go. U.S. warns it is prepared to address China air and sea aggression. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? U.S. warns all us plantation workers of slave land here, we're going to go fight China. Who's this coming from? Another arrogant piece of scum shit. The warning from John Kirby, the National Security Council, underscores U.S. alarm over interactions between U.S. and China forces in international airspace. Kirby said the interceptions were, quote, part and parcel, end quote, of, quote, increasing level of aggression by the People's Liberation Army. Quote, we're prepared to address it. Oh, we? Oh, you're going to go over there and fight? Anybody that wants to go fight a war, put on your military drag, send yourself, your partners, your wife, your kids, whoever else, go over there, send yourself, go your money, go fight or shut your fucking mouth. Kirby. What are you talking about, we? Not me. Quote, they have happened with more frequency than we'd like. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what the Chinese do to Taiwan. Ain't my business. Been going on since the Ming Dynasty. The world says that Taiwan belongs to China. What's your favorite war? You like the Iraq War? No, I like the Vietnam War. Hey, how about the Syrian War? No, give me the Libyan War. I love the Yemen War. No. The 2 Iraq Wars, the Afghan Wars. Oh, yeah, the war wars. They haven't won a war since. China's warned Western militaries to stay out of the waters. Wang Wenbin of Chinese Foreign Ministry accused U.S., quote, of bullying around China's territorial airspace and waters. Again, this is from the Financial Times. Washington's, quote, provocations, end quote, were, quote, root cause of air and war security issues. Exactly. Hey, Kirby. What are you eating, Krispy Kremes, Kirby? What if the Chinese were down in the Gulf of Mexico and going up and down the U.S. coast and hanging out down there near the Panama Canal. Oh, you'd love it. What if they were doing air drills with with Chinese allies like Russia all around America's coasts, north, south, east, and west? What fucking hypocrisy. And none of these fucking prostitutes talk about it. None of them. War whores on parade. And moving on, students' assaults against teachers ratcheted up. Across the U.S., violence against teachers has ratcheted up since the widespread return of in-person learning in 2021. Oh, yeah, ratcheted up. Didn't exist before the COVID war, did it? Didn't exist before you fucked up all these kids by locking them up and sending them at home. Didn't exist before you got them shot up and fucked up. But we won't talk about that because I don't want to get blacklisted, which is sexist, gender-listed. In Chat with Musk, Kennedy pushes right-wing ideas and misinformation. That's the way the toilet paper record reported Kennedy and Musk's co-hosting a few days ago. Misinformation. Right-wing ideas. Right-wing ideas like peace. Yep. Mr. Kennedy spent 9 uninterrupted minutes attacking Mr. Biden as a warmonger and claimed that their party was under the control of the pharmaceutical industry. Why? That right-wing idea. And misinformation is terrible. That's sexist, calling it misinformation. Quote, I think the Democratic Party became a party of war. That's a right-wing idea and misinformation. It is a party of war. You had AOC and fat boy Bernie Sanders, a little arrogant fuck that never worked a day in his life, been sucking off the public tit his whole life. All voted to send $40 billion to keep blooding the killing fields. They don't come out for peace. Yep. Party of war. Talking about Biden, I attribute that directly to President Biden. He has always been in favor of every bellicose, pugnacious, and aggressive foreign policy, and he believes that violence is a legitimate political tool to achieving America's objectives abroad. That's right-wing idea. That's why they hate me in Kingston. I have peace and freedom rallies. That's right-wing. In libtard land, where people are suffering from libtarditis. Libtarditis means they swallow political and corporate shit. So, got a lot more here, a lot more here, a lot more here. In your Trends Journal, this last week was what, 177 pages or something like that. No ads. Nobody tells us what to do. Nobody. Nobody. No one. We put out the truth in trends. And the trends are your friends. And we're giving you what nobody else is giving you. So go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. And by the way, if you don't have time to read all of it, it's also audio. You could listen to it. So again, don't forget to get your shirt to spread the word. Hey, politicians, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? Oh, shut up, Celente. I love our mayor. Lindsey Graham's my guy. No, I like Chucky Schumer. No, Diane Not-So-Feinstein. A freak show. Mitch more chins than McConnell. More chins than Chinatown McConnell. One clown. Oh, did you hear McConnell come out? He doesn't like that debt ceiling deal. You know why? Need more money for the military. That's right. More money for war. They're war whores. Little clowns that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag love war the most. Real men don't. That's why John F. Kennedy didn't love it, hated it. That's why Eisenhower hated it after he saw it, was part of it. It's criminal. So support Occupy Peace, and thank you, all of you that did that make these rallies possible, because we're going to keep doing more and more until we bring peace on earth, goodwill to all. Thanks for tuning in.
Get the Trends Journal, the best investment you could make, because it's the best investment into your mind, and it can change how you look at the world.
Over the last 30 years, Gerald Celente has been more accurate about predicting what would be happening than anyone else I'm aware of.
The Trends Journal is one of the greatest sources of information, and and it really is. You're predicting these things well ahead of time. I would encourage everyone to go grab the latest copy.
I've been a Trends Journal subscriber for 20 years. I just have to commend you. What you guys have put together in your latest Trends Journal, there's nothing like this out there.
Sir, everything that you predicted about the economy, you were absolutely right. So I have followed you all this time. So please take a look at the Trends Journal.
You correctly forecast that the Fed would hike rates quite aggressively, correctly said that initially gold and silver would drop as the Fed starts to raise rate to 1.5% and above. When we spoke last, Bitcoin was around 49,000. You said you expect to drop, and if it drops below 30, 35, then it could really drop.
Trends Journal, which I would encourage people to go and check out. It's actually a 200-page document, pure data-driven analysis.
Gerald Celente, the top trends forecaster in the world. Gerald, you had an interesting call back in September of last year. You said gold had bottomed, which is exactly what happened. And here we are, and we're above $1,900.
Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happened at trendsjournal.com.